Well, that kind of throws me into another question. Relationship. You talk about relationship, and real estate is the base of it. The foundation is relationship business, and the agents count on it. But they need to go through some changes. Things are so different now, and again, before COVID, after COVID, and God knows what's going to happen in another few years. And they don't like to change. They're already used to building their relationship by sending postcards or by getting some magnets for a refrigerator. That is their relationship building. And what you are preaching and what you are proposing is a completely different direction, and it's not as easy as some agents would like it to be.
Absolutely. So I'll preface it by saying that my philosophical belief and approach into things is completely untraditional technically, because I work oftentimes to the opposite end. So, my background's in behavioral psychology and the science of well-being. And what I look at and what I've studied over the years, and I'm deeply self-taught. So let's be very clear. I don't have a PhD in anything. So I want to, put that caveat out there. But I've been incredibly blessed to learn from other people. And then sort of pay that forward through the different learnings that I've been able to accumulate in my time. And as I love to say, one of my favorite sayings is, all wisdom is plagiarism, only stupidity is original. So I've learned over the years that the key here is, when we talk about it being a relationship business, most of the actions that an agent takes do more to damage their brand and the relationship than actually improves and deepens the quality of the relationship, right? So if you think about it, you're involved, a real estate agent is involved in the third most stressful time in a human being's life, right? Right behind death and job loss. You're involved in the third most stressful time in a person's life with the largest financial transaction most people will ever make. You're then involved for a long period of time. So after you begin to develop the trust, you engage in that trust, right? You're in that mind share with them, and you've built this. For months on end now, you're riding all the emotionality, their highs, their lows, their financial questions, concerns, and problems, their marital concerns and problems, their kids' lives, their kids' concerns and problems. You ride the emotional roller coaster with folks, right? All of this, you bring them to fruition, you bring them to the promised land, right? And at the very end, after you've done all of this for them, what do? You put them on a mailing list.
And in your CRM.
There is literally nothing that says I hate you more than putting someone on a mailing list. But we believe that that is actually what produces and maintains a relationship, because they've been taught that. It's wrong. That's not the way that you build and maintain healthy relationships, right? There's 2.8 million agents in the world. Technically, I'll backtrack. There's 2.8 million licensed real estate agents in the US. If you look at that though, most recently, about close to 90% of all transactions are only done by 10% of those licensed agents in the US.
That's correct, yeah.
Think about that. What other industry has 90% of its population not actively producing anything? But what are those 90% doing? My open house, my just sold, my new listing, the hot new color to paint your front door in spring, my newsletter. By the way, you haven't opened the last 5 things I've sent you, but hey, my newsletter. Right? So how do the 10% that are actively engaged and involved in their business then compete by doing the exact same thing from a relationship standpoint that everyone else is doing? You don't. But yet, what do we train to and what do we teach? Marketing, marketing, marketing. Look at a brokerage. How does a brokerage win agents? How does a brokerage satisfy that? Well, look at the offering that we say, come to us and we're going to give you, right? What is it? Marketing.
Marketing.
Some more marketing. Your brand, your image, the sign, the logo, the stuff, right? No one says here, when you come to us, what we're going to do is we're going to help you understand functionally and behaviorally how you can deepen the relationships and create something that is uniquely special, because most agents, only 10% of their business all year comes from outside third-party sources, like disconnected source. 90% of a good agent's business comes from people you know or people those people know. And yet what are we doing? This massive push to see how can we go an inch deep and a mile wide to reach as many people as possible. But where's all the money coming from? Right?
Yeah.
An inch wide and a mile deep. And yet the training, the education, the support, everything involved in the industry revolves around what? stuff for the sake of stuff. What can we pump out? What can we do? So in a relationship mindset, and a lot of what I teach and a lot of what I try and help people work through is understanding the behaviors behind these things. Because it's easy to push a button, e-blast 4,000 people and feel good really quickly, right? Like I did something, I connected to people. It's hard to pick up a phone to somebody that you haven't spoken to in 6 months and be superhuman and go, hey, just wanted to see how you're doing. Without thinking I feel salesy, it feels weird, like all that emotional stuff that comes up in that process. That's hard. And that's not something that people do easily. So you actually have to work with someone to understand behaviorally what's the blocker, where's that engagement. So you talk about the blockers to agents these days.
Yes.
It's all interpersonal. It's an emotional thing. It's very, very much emotionally driven.